Today I will be covering the extensive lore of the Super Cat Tales series. Super Cat Tales is a series that has a surprising amount of world building, a huge story that is told through all the games of the developer, and overall a great and emotional story that you'd never expect from a game about cats. This video will include everything from the lore, and we will also get into speculation on what happens going forward. So let's get into it already. And let's start with the best game out of all of them, Super Cat Tales 2. It might be confusing why we are starting with what seems to be the second game in the series, but trust me, it will all make sense later. The game starts off in a mysterious way. We see strange markings that show some kind of story. A character in the game will tell us more about what this all means, so for now we will leave this in the back of our minds. And just like that, the game starts. We see the main cat Alex sleeping on the patio of his house. And then he sees something. Poor Alex gets knocked out and put in a cage. This is where he meets Meow, the second cat that we can unlock. Meow busts Alex out of prison and they make their escape. And just like that, they make their way to the nearby city. Here is where we find out about more game mechanics. This is where we will alert the mayor of this city, warning him about the invading army coming their way. Meanwhile, if we return back to Alex's home in the first level, Amy reveals that the kittens Alex was supposed to look after have gone missing. After we find all the kittens, she will join us. Using the key the mayor gives us, we go to the power plant. This is where the robots make more robots. That raises some questions, but I'll let it slide for now. It also looks like the green and blue commanders have some beef in between them. At the end of the level, we see this. that was strange, but now the cats are about to fight the first boss. We easily defeat the boss and move on to World 2. And just like that, we set sail across the ocean and try to stop the Tin Army. Now we have 3 cats in our party. They sneak onto the Tin Army's ship and they make it to the sand region. Here they find a small town. We get saved by Shinji's friend Lal. Here Lal explains what the strange markings from the beginning actually represent. Now we understand a little more about this world. If these legendary crystals hold the world in balance, then they are the most important artifacts in the entire world. This must mean that everyone is after them. From the official YouTube channel from the developer of the game, the dev reveals a little more about this town.
During this era, the giant pyramids were built. It is known that some of the legendary crystals keeping the world in balance were kept inside the giant pyramid nearby Rumal town. With time passing by, Ramal town gradually lost its wealth.
So sad to hear about what happened to the sand region. But it's also very interesting how much care the developer had for making such story-rich places. Going back to the game, the cats reach the top of the Great Pyramid. Alex hides and overhears these guys talking. What could the Tin Army want with a dragon? Time to confront this guy. So the Tin Army wants to use a crystal to take over the world. I knew ChatGPT was gonna take over the world. Well, not with these guys on watch. As we continue towards the East Mountains, Lal hooks us up with a train and wishes us farewell. On the train ride, our friends contemplate the gravity of their adventure. While traveling up the mountains, we find yet another cat. We eventually find him in his hidden mine. We appreciate a good businessman, so we bribe him into our team. While we hitch another train, Meow stops the Tin Army from capturing the dragon. And finally, we arrive to Goldberg and stop by an inn. Meow seems hesitant about talking to this guy. But a snowstorm forces everyone to stay inside. After retrieving the key, the cats rush off towards the ancient mine. Despite McMeow's betrayal, Alex goes on. The third boss tries to finish us here, but we finish him off easily. Oh, McMeow, you were a flawed character, but still my favorite.
You're a flawed man, Frank. But we all are. But deep down, I know you're a good man.
Gosh, what the hell?
Oh. What's up?
Who would have thought a silly little cat game would get you so invested in a character? But despite losing one cat, we gain Luna, the powerful cat holding the moon crystal. Let's take a quick break. I just wanted to say, if you liked the video so far, consider subscribing. I tried to give a unique and handcrafted vibe to my videos. All of these pages were handmade and took hours to make each. So if you like what I do, please help other people to see this video by giving it a like. Once again, we infiltrate another Tin Army ship to take it down. The cat crew makes their way to a sky city where they find some wounded soldiers. In the secret level, we find this guy. RoboKitty is just an extra cat you can unlock after you beat the game. I just thought this was cool. After finding the Sora fruit, we come back to the hospital. And just like that, we get one of McMeow's former soldiers onto our team. As we try to get back down to the ground, the stargazers stop us. We take care of them and enter the bamboo forest. Captain Lace tries to stop us, but we get through this level as well. In the bamboo forest, we also find the last kitten, meaning Amy can join our team now. In the bamboo forest, we find a monastery full of monks. After all this time, we finally reach the Moon Temple. This is for you, McMeow. After a tougher fight, we managed to defeat Lord Iridium as well. Well, almost. So Captain Lace has taken over the Tin Army now that Lord Iridium is thought to be dead. So many new threats begin to show up for our cats. Infiltrating yet another ship, we take this one down too. That was close, but we make it to the next village. On a side mission, we help this guy out. With his help, we reach Alex's friend in Hikari City, who managed to sleep through basically the end of the world. With all the cats now in our party, we find a train leading to the biggest city in the region. The PAWS team? Sounds important. Riggs chases us through the train with a helicopter like in Mission Impossible, but before he is able to get us, we get away. After escaping Riggs and getting Luna back, the cats find a hotel. To get rid of dark matter in the sky, the cats find a way to enter the corrupted domain. Inside we find corrupted iridium and fight him one last time. And just like that, dark matter is gone from the sky and the world is safe, at least for now. At the end we get pictures with a lot of hidden secrets, which we will go over in a bit. After completing the game, if you go back to this cat named Pascal, he will reveal some extra information about Ollie. Now that we've finished Super Cat Tales 2, let's move on to the original game, Super Cat Tales. It turns out that Super Cat Tales 2 was a prequel to the original game, meaning it happened before Super Cat Tales. It's a little confusing, but don't worry. We will go over the timeline in more detail later. For now, it's just important that Super Cat Tales 2 happened before the original Super Cat Tales. We see Super Cat Tales happened after Super Cat Tales 2 because at the beginning of this game, some monkeys shoot down the balloon and the cats are scattered throughout the world. So now in this game, they all need to find each other again. In this game, Alex travels through the world to find his friends. Each world has a village, as always, which is filled with people to talk to. Each world also has a boss, but for this game the bosses are just random enemies that get in your way. There's no longer any sight of the tin pirates trying to take over the world, but I'm sure they will cause trouble in the future. Eventually we find Brutus, our lazy friend, and try to find the rest of the cats together. An interesting detail is that while Brutus would eat pizza in Super Cat Tales 2, in Super Cat Tales he only eats apples. Looks like he's trying to keep up a diet, good for him. We also find Shinji, who helps us with water levels. Another interesting thing to mention is that every single game made by the developer has characters or NPCs that have appeared in his other games. This character, for example, Dino Boy, has his own game. We will cover some of these other games too, as there's a little bit of lore in them. But moving on, we find Kuro as well. Next we find Amy, who is locked up in a cave. What did they do to you? In the jungle, we find Ollie just chilling in the leaves. Something to mention is that in this game, Ollie can no longer attack enemies. While in Super Cat Tales 2, McMeow and Ollie had the power to defeat enemies, here he does not. Now he only uses the cloak to glide. But as we get closer to the end of the game, an ominous temple lies ahead. In the village, just next to the temple, a village tribe lives peacefully. But here we see something very out of place. Bold white guys in the jungle studying the energy coming from the temple. You know what's about to go down when they show up. The temple is locked up with 3 doors. Strange geometric shapes are all across the temple and the music is no longer a bop. It gives you the feeling that you're not supposed to be here. The final level is simply titled Reach the Light. Dark matter is back. This game doesn't have much of the story or cutscenes, but there can be some things that we can imply based on Super Cat Tales 2. The cats must have either stumbled upon dark matter again accidentally, or maybe they knew it was here. After all, dark matter was first discovered beneath the water temple, and now beneath the jungle temple. There seems to be a connection with the dark matter and the temples, as it always hides deep below them. It may be very possible that dark matter is after the crystals that hold the world in balance. Or a personal theory of mine is that maybe dark matter is what happens when the crystals are no longer holding the world in balance. Dark matter may just be the end of the world. The end of the world that even Captain Lace of the Tin Pirates fears. After all, the Tin Pirates probably want to take over the world for themselves, not end it. But that's just a theory. A game theory. Speaking about the Tin Pirates, let's talk about that more. Currently, as I'm making this video, there is no game in the series that progresses the story further into the future. So for now, the story stops here.
The Teen Army, which apparently is not called Teen Army anymore, but the Teen Pirates instead. It looks like after Lord Iridium's demise, Captain Lace took over the Teen Soldiers and rebranded them as Teen Pirates. What do you think about this move? Will Captain Lace be a worthy opponent?
Let's learn a little more about dark matter. Here we have another video.
But so far, we haven't seen much of him in Super Cat Tales 2. Did you know the true origin of dark matter belongs to a game called Dream Tower that dates back to 2010? Very small dark cloud with a red pinkish eye appears as final boss of Dream Tower. Some might speculate that back then dark matter was smaller as it was in its primordial state and eventually ended up growing way bigger to the form that we know now.
Anyways, let's move on. Next I have a video from the dev explaining the Super Cattails timeline more thoroughly. In this video he reflects on what was going on while he was making Super Cattails 2.
Super Cattails 2 was like a sequel that happened before Super Cattails 1. On top of that, almost all of my characters belong to the same Neutronized Universe! Some of them appear in more than just one single game, making things even more confusing when it comes to understanding the timeline of the Neutronized Universe! Well, this is why today we'll put some of my games into such timelines, starting from the first one that took place way back in the past till the most recent one. Be prepared, I won't be covering all of my games like Dino Boys, Snow Kids or Dream Tower for example, as this would take way too long to describe in just one single video and go beyond the scope of the Super Cattails related timeline. So I'll be focusing on just 5 games in particular. Super Cattails 1 and 2, obviously, Drop Wizard, Lost Yeti, and Drop Wizard Tower. Low. Okay, let's travel through time and visualize our timeline. Here it is! It starts from here and time goes on as this line moves to the right. The first game that took place on such timeline is the original Drop Wizard. In Drop Wizard we see Tio and Mia as 2 young wizards traveling from town to town until the evil warlock Cardius appears, turning Mia into a statue. In Drop Wizard, we see some of the minions found in Super Cattails 2 and 2 of the most recurring characters of my video games, Tomo and Bobo. Throughout his journey, Tio is indeed followed by both Tomo and Bobo, appearing in most of the game's cutscenes. Additionally, at the end of the game, Tio even fights dark matter, which is significantly smaller than the version found at the end of Super Cattails.
Let's take a step back and discuss more about this game's ending. At the end of the game you face against this shadowy figure who turns out to be dark matter. A very important thing to note is that this final boss is fought in the ancient temple. Does that sound familiar? Almost every time dark matter appears, it's always around the temple. Super Cattails 2 told us that the temples of this world hold the crystals, and dark matter always seems to be there too. And through the games it always seems to be defeated, yet it always comes back bigger and stronger. In this game it's smaller, but in Super Cattails 2 it was much bigger. But even then the cats were able to enter the corrupted domain without being hurt. In the original Super Cattails, the cats can now be harmed if they touch dark matter. There is still a lot that isn't clear, but it feels like dark matter and the crystals are always connected.
Thanks to the difference in size of dark matter, we can definitely understand that Drop Wizard is the first game to be placed at the start of our timeline. Okay, let's continue and place the next game, which is Lost Yeti. Lost Yeti tells the story of a small Yeti getting lost from its pack during a Yeti migration. You know, that's usual Yeti's business. Throughout its journey, the small Yeti will have to face many enemies that are also seen in Super Cattails, like Jello, the yellow slime, and fire dragons. We will see in a minute why I'm placing Lost Yeti at this point in the timeline right before our next game, which is Drop Wizard Tower. Drop Wizard Tower takes place after the original Drop Wizard and Lost Yeti. We can clearly see a more adult version of Tio and Mia, as Mia even teaches to a younger generation of wizards, like we can see in her handing. Additionally, if we complete the game with Sami and pay close attention to the first scene, we can see the young Yeti from Lost Yeti hiding right behind a tree. This means that Drop Wizard Tower definitely takes place right after Lost Yeti. Additionally, we can see how most of the endings of the characters in Drop Wizard Tower perfectly match with the events of the next game in our list, which is Super Cattails 2. That's right. Super Cattails 2 is the next game in our timeline, meaning that the events in this game take place even before the original Super Cattails. There are different points in support of this theory. First of all the main cats in Super Cattails 2 don't seem to know each other. Shinji clearly introduces himself to both Alex and MacMeow. Meanwhile, in the original Super Cattails, all cats are seen traveling together from the beginning of the game. Okay, this shows how both games are clearly connected and how Super Cattails 2 takes place right before Super Cattails 1. Additionally, there are some other elements that place Super Cattails 2 after Drop Wizard, Lost Yeti, and Drop Wizard Tower. In Drop Wizard Tower, Baboro's ending, we see how Baboro dives deep into the ocean to seek peace and silence. In the first level of the second world of Super Cattails 2, we can indeed find Baboros in such location. And yeah, the same can be said for Lal. In Lal's ending in Drop Wizard Tower, we see how Lal returns to his village, where he can finally rest and have glorious feasts in his honor. Well, his village is Ramal Town, and we can indeed find Lal if we visit Ramal Town in Super Cattails 2. So, at the end of our timeline, we obviously place the original Super Cattails, where we see a bigger form of dark matter, at least compared to the one in Drop Wizard and Super Cattails 2. Why do you think is dark matter constantly getting bigger?
That video was really helpful, but let's take another look at the endings of Drop Wizard Tower. So at the beginning, the wizards were captured by the Shadow Order when it took over the area. The Shadow Order was a sect led by Lord Relic. It might be a stretch, but what if Lord Relic was once again dark matter in disguise? He did it in the original Wizard Tower, so it could be likely. They also took an ancient egg and built an entire tower to protect it. When we finish the game with Tio, we actually get a sneak peek at what's inside. When you finish the game with all the wizards, you unlock a powerful baby dragon. Defeating Lord Relic one last time, we get one last ending. What does Lord Relic, or even perhaps the Dark Matter, want with this mysteriously powerful dragon? Dark Matter seems to be after all of the most powerful things in the Neutronized Universe. Also, let's not even mention that this dragon can hop dimensions, meaning that the Neutronized Universe is actually a multiverse. Let's just not think about that. We never learn anything else about this anyway, so it's a safe bet that all the games are most likely happening in the shared universe. Let's move on to one last interesting part of this game. Let's look at Kalio's ending. Also, it's important to mention that in the secret level of Super Cattails, some asteroids fall on the cats. These asteroids are Kalio's power in Drop Wizard Tower. This means that he continues to try and stop the cats. Anyways, this is interesting. Kalio seems to be corrupted by Lord Relic, who might be Dark Matter. I sense a major conspiracy theory here. In Super Cattails, Kalio came up to Alex and McMeow to tell Alex about McMeow's betrayal. Of course, McMeow really did those bad things, but maybe Kylo was actually trying to stop the cats from defeating the Tin Army or Dark Matter? By telling Alex what happened, he knew that they would not trust each other anymore and fall apart. McMeow would do anything for what he thinks is the greater good. He sacrificed his friends thinking it would help save the world. And even if this is a terrible way to think, I think through his death he found redemption. He finally helped others and gave his life up for it, dying a hero instead of continuing like a villain. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. If Kylo was controlled by Lord Relic Dark Matter, is it possible that Dark Matter set my boy McMeow up to die? That's some strange stuff to happen, and it's not likely, but it's just another theory. Let's move on to the next chapter. After completing Super Cattails 2, the dev made some short animations. These animations show our cats in modern scenarios. Let's take a look. These shorts show the cats in the future, probably after they defeated the Tin Pirates and Dark Matter. And now it looks like they live in the city from the beginning of Super Cat Tales 2. Near where Alex and Amy used to have a house with some kittens. Even if the huge story of the series isn't over yet, it's nice to see that at the end the cats will live normal, peaceful lives. Even the mayor and Ollie's friend Pascal can be seen hanging out together. Okay, now that we learned all of that, we can finally look at the photos from the ending of Super Cat Tales 2. It took a long time, but it was important to explain all of those things before looking at the photos from the ending. As always, I will only show the most important parts of the video. My video is already long enough as it is.
And check out some snapshots. The first picture shows Alex and Amy at the Neko house, the first stage of Super Cat Tales 2. The Neko house is a wooden building found in cedar woods where cats can find shelter or just hang out. In this picture we see Alex quite concerned about Max, one of the kittens he was supposed to look after at the beginning of the game. Max is also the last kitty to be rescued in Super Cat Tales 2. Picture number 4 shows Luna and Shinji staring at the moon. Shinji seems to be very attached to Luna. In fact, we can see him hanging around her multiple times, like on the train to Ultima or at the Cuddle Hotel. Shinji is also the first cat who rescues Luna when she gets kidnapped by Riggs. Picture number 8. We're still at the seaside, and in this next picture we see Mia, Amy and Luna playing volleyball on the sandy shore of Coconut Island. Did you know Mia is one of the main characters of Drop Wizard, and she's also found in a secret level of Super Cat Tales 2. Okay, this next picture is a huge one and would probably require its own video to be fully described. In this picture we see some of the members of the PAWS team. This includes Ollie, MacMeow, Pascal, Riggs and other 2 cats. The PAWS team is a special unit mentioned by Ollie while the cats are on their way to Ultima. The mission of the PAWS team is to protect Nekoland from any threats. This is why PAWS soldiers are fighting against the Tin Army in Super Cat Tales 2. All the members are wearing the same yellow cloak. This means this is probably some sort of official uniform or something. The picture includes Riggs, a cat that kidnaps Luna at some point and one of the bosses of Super Cat Tales 2. It looks like Riggs was allied to MacMeow before probably betraying the PAWS team. To this day, it's still not sure how many PAWS members are left. In this picture we see Kuro and Dinoboy sitting at the Miners' Tavern in Goldburg. The Miners' Tavern is a place where only miners are allowed. This is why you gotta use Kuro to get in. Both Kuro and Dinoboy are sitting at the same table in front of a giant diamond and setting up a plan to find more of these precious minerals. This is a reference to Mineblast, another platformer adventure where Kuro and Dinoboy are inside a cave and blasting their way out using TNTs. This means the events of Mineblast took place during Super Cat Tales 2. This is especially true if you consider many of the NPCs in Mineblast tell you about events related to Super Cat Tales, like the Buffoid trying to reach his brother working in Gulberg, or one of the elite guards telling you about the Teen Army.
Let's pause here and take a look at more of the NPCs we find in this game. I played the whole game as always and recorded all of the things I found interesting. For example, we can find the dragon trader down here. Aren't you supposed to be dead? We also find other NPCs from Super Cat Tales too, such as this guy that was traveling to see his brother. Or even one of Alex's kittens. I don't think Alex is coming to get this guy anymore. And there's also a little reference to another game. Can you guess what it is? There's also another scientist, like in Super Cat Tales, studying dark energy. Dark matter isn't in this game, so what is he talking about? Maybe it's lurking somewhere deep waiting to resurface. We also find the squirrel from Dream Tower. What he says makes us question if Dream Tower was really a dream or not. Maybe dark matter came from nightmares. And then at one point we find a slime. We will cover this in a little bit. For now, let's go back to the video talking about the Super Cat Tales 2 ending.
Talking about the elite guards, in this picture we also see Kallio sitting at the bar. Looks like this place is not just for miners after all. The next picture shows Alex and Shinji inside the hot air balloon, the same one the cats find at the end of the game and seen in the intro of the original Super Cat Tales. After defeating Lord Iridium and the Teen Army, the cats plan to get back home inside this hot air balloon. Unfortunately though, their journey gets interrupted by some pesky monkeys and their cannon.
Also, Luna was in the balloon with them, but she wasn't in Super Cat Tales. This is probably because she was introduced in Super Cat Tales 2, which was made after Super Cat Tales. So it's probably safe to say that the cats will find her after Super Cat Tales, as they are all seen together in the Super Cat Tales shorts. There's a lot of big holes of the story missing, but we tried to piece together the story with what we have.
In the next picture we see Lord Iridium inside the giant mothership, holding a mirror and staring at his own reflection. This is a fun picture because we see all the vanity of Lord Iridium, a big contrast compared to the battlefield fights he fought against the cats. Talking about Lord Iridium, in the next two pictures we see all the Lord Iridium's henchmen. This includes Commander Mizu, Commander Gerudo, Commander Cobalt, and Captain Lace. The first three are driving the Teen Army's van at super speed, while Captain Lace is just holding his mega machine gun. Fun fact, did you know that in Super Cat Tales 2, Captain Lace never got a chance to fire his mega machine gun? I was very surprised to see how much love the players have for the Teen Army's commanders. Celebrate Thanksgiving Day on my Twitter. In this picture, Brutus is eating most of the food and about to down a whole piece of cake. This picture is a big one. It shows Riggs next to the monkeys and their cannon. As I mentioned earlier in this video, these monkeys are the same that blasted a cannonball at the hot air balloon the cats took at the end of Super Cat Tales 2.
So Riggs was behind the cats being scattered in Super Cat Tales. I wonder why he keeps going after the cats. He's after Luna for some reason, but we don't know why or who he's working with.
From this picture, looks like that Riggs, a former PAWS member, was behind a plan to take down the hot air balloon with the cats inside. What do you think the plans of Riggs are? Does he want to put his paws on the moon crystal again? And why did he betray MacMeow and the PAWS team? Feel free to let me know your opinions in the comments. Here we are, we've reached the last picture, showing Luna and the moon crystal. This is a sculpture found inside the water temple, the last level of the 5th world of Super Cattails 2. Did you know this image was supposed to be part of the Super Cattails 2 splash screen, but eventually this idea got scrapped.
So now we know most of the lore. There are so many little things that you need to know, which is why I made this video compiling everything together. Next up, let's look at the lore of another game series made by the same developer. So the slime from Slime Laboratory was born when some toy slime touched some strange chemicals. In the first game, the slime tries to escape the toy factory. When we get the true ending, this happens. In Slime Labs 2, he finds himself in a chemical testing laboratory. As we just saw, he crashed from the toy factory straight into this lab. At one point he touches some of these chemicals. This chemical gives him a mouth. If the slime touches more slime, it expands. It can also swim through water. And it can eat things. So I don't know about you, but this slime could get up to some Terminator type trouble and destroy the world. After finding the spaceship in Slime Labs 2, we see the slime traveling through space in Slime Labs 3. In this game, he crashes into an icy planet with a factory. Since we know this game takes place in the same universe as Super Cattails, does this mean that Earth colonized other planets already? Let's break that down with yet another game. Dino Quake tells the story of what happened in prehistoric times in the Neutronized Universe. So aliens do exist in this world. At the end of this game, you fight the green alien leader. Based on the color, I thought this might have been a mutation of slime, but since this game takes place way before Slime Labs, there is no way that's a possibility. So that base in Slime Labs is mysterious. It could be alien or it could be an Earth base. Each character has their own ending when they finish the game, and some of these are interesting. So dinosaurs are in space now. And there's a possibility they survived extinction on a different planet then. This one is interesting. This brings up a few new things about dark matter. It doesn't look too big, so it's probably no bigger than it was in Dream Tower. But this means that dark matter could have existed from the beginning of time. The crystals could be keeping it locked underneath Earth as a prisoner. But once again, just a theory. Going back to Slime Labs 3, the slime escapes this lab as well. Farther into the future, the slime now works as a space pizza deliverer. Slime and his flying robot friend are now stranded on a strange planet. Once again, he's stuck in a laboratory that he has to escape. He just can't catch a break, can he? As he continues through the different labs, he finally reaches the outside. And that's everything about Slime Labs. Now I have one last game to talk about. This game is a little strange and unexpected. This game is kinda a spin-off on Super Cattails because it doesn't have the main cats. Instead, we follow the PAWS team. This means that this game takes place before Super Cattails 2. This game is probably the best visually and mechanically, but it's strange that the story of Super Cattails keeps going backwards in time. Super Cattails 2 was a prequel to Super Cattails, and now Super Cattails PAWS is a sequel to Super Cattails 2. This game reveals even more lore, but in a way I wish we could have gotten a game that progresses the story of Super Cattails. Either way, this game is important to the backstories of many characters. And on the plus side, since this is more in the past, McMeow is still alive and will be playable once again. It's just so confusing for casual players and children who don't know the entire lore, so that's why this video is important. Hold up, so the PAWS team is where the Tin Army comes from? That explains a lot about where the robots come from. In this game, a group of animal bandits took a hard drive from Pascal while he was delivering it. It's possible that the animal bandits took the code that made the robots and turned them evil. Let's continue with the cutscenes. The game stops on a cliffhanger. Now we need to wait for the next update to the game to see what's going to happen next. It's been some time since the game released, but the developer said that he would begin working on an update for this game. But for now, let's talk about the ending. We just saw Captain Lace as a skeleton saying that he was cursed. In this world, skeletons are dead beings that are cursed in some way. This has never been elaborated on, and I didn't think it would become a huge plot point. But in some way, Captain Lace was cursed, and he wants the codes for the robots. Later in Super Cat Tales 2, we see he became some kind of robot himself, which is so confusing. We'll just have to wait for the next update to learn more. But anyway, this is the complete collection of all the lore we have right now. I have some more videos on this franchise, including a Captain Lace Theories video, so feel free to check that out if you want. For now, that's all. I might make an updated version of this video when more comes out, but no promises. Thanks for watching.